Hey everybody, and welcome back to a show about shows, episode 56. It's a free for all. Yes, it's just we're just gonna go Donnybrooking. We're gonna beat the hell out of each other. It's gonna be as romantic as Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship. And I gotta tell you, Jordan, we talked earlier about this. It's just a great bunch of news. We're not going to cover it, but if you haven't listened to any of the testimony so far, read it. It is unbelievably good. It just talks about Amber Heard and how she's just whooped the dog out of Johnny Depp, and now we're hearing from Amber Heard saying she's lived in fear all her marriage about him killing her. So this is going to be so much fun. It's really going to ruin a lot of reputations in Hollywood, especially one of
Love
the.
and marriage, love and marriage.
Hey, Al Bundy thought, he had it bad. This is what he had. This right here is like a rose picnic with Peggy, other than Amber and John. But this is a free for all. I am Dutch McAllister. Jordan Pearson right there. Tell him hi for me, buddy. I'm sorry, I walked over your introduction, but
Not at all, buddy. Welcome everyone back. We're gonna have some fun reviews today. We're counting down top 10 Angelina Jolie movies. I wasn't
we
sure if
just
I had 10, but I have 10. So
the bottom. I think 10 through 8 or 7 were the tough ones. You know what I'm saying? The first one,
yep.
though, I'll be honest, it's an oldie but a goodie. So I can't wait to see what you have
Yeah,
for
there's
number
gonna
one.
those first few are the kind of movies that would never make a top 10 normally, but they're in this top 10.
Yeah, I didn't know how we were doing it, but we'll cover that when we get there. But we are going to revisit a few films that I haven't had a chance. You watched, but we're going to kick it off first. You want me to do this, or you want to do this one?
Pop it away, buddy. Take it away. Let's talk about Greyhound.
Greyhound. Tom Hanks' new thriller. A U.S. Commander Ernest Krause is assigned to lead an Ally convoy across the Atlantic during World War II. Again, this has Tom Hanks, Elizabeth Shue, Rob Morgan, and Stephen Graham. I don't know if you had a chance to see it yet. This is on Apple Plus, and this is well worth my $5. This is the $5 submission for this network. There's other things that I'm now looking at, but I'm taking my time and digesting every part of it. It's inspired by true events. Elizabeth Shue shows up for like 30 seconds. I mean, maximum screen time. 30 seconds maximum screen time. Yeah, I think everything you see in the preview is what you see in the movie, I think you could get rid of that, and the movie would still be as good. I enjoyed Tom Hanks' performance. I think they added this because they wanted to show him as a human side. He reflected a little bit, and that's when Elizabeth Shue shows up. Rob Morgan plays the chef on the boat. His major line is basically the captain hasn't eaten yet. Let's get him some food. And basically Tom Hanks goes, Cleveland, leave me alone. I just want coffee. And again, Stephen, the other dude, Stephen Graham, he just shows up. He's like the XO of the boat. So, but actually, this is a very tense moment all the way from the very beginning of the movie, and it had me just. It was not a slowdown. There was no letdown. It was adrenaline. It was, oh my God, are they going to make it? Are they going to help these people? And again, this is we find out in the very beginning that this is the commander's first helm across the Atlantic. They finally gave him a battleship, and this is his first duty. Something that no one usually does any better than what he has done so far. And to me, it was like I said, an adrenaline rush all the way through. It kept me tense. And it just showed what it was probably like during those sea crossings. It was just like I said, it was an unbelievable film. Tom Hanks wrote this film, it was just a great action piece. Do you have any questions about this movie before or anything like that, or you just want me to just give you the good old fashioned
I want to say,
snowflake?
I mean, Tom Hanks, man, if you need someone to landing the Nassau plane, this convoy. What is it? He seems to be your guy. A plane, a Sully. Tom Hanks can land any kind of vehicle, it seems. So
Absolutely, or sew together a bunch of luggage and get it to an island. We all know what that one was. My favorite, Joe versus the volcano. So
I
he
was
can
about to say, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
he can captain that to an island and survive a volcano.
Even
But
when
anyway,
we're not talking old movies, Joe vs. Volcano comes up.
every time I can't help it. It's one of my favorite classics. But Greyhound, I give this one 4 snowflakes. It's so well worth it. I know it should go 5, but I think 4 is just perfect for this film. There was not, like I said, the Elizabeth Shue part. I think he lost the bet or something. He had to have, to put her in it because it's like a coin flip. Should I put her in? Should I put her? Oh, I guess I'll put her in because it didn't really do much for the story itself. But it just showed, I guess, like I said, the humanity side of the captain. So
Yeah, you want to show a brief glimpse of that. I can see it making sense as to why you want to show a little bit of his human side before you're into the emotion.
yeah, that's
Next to revisit one I saw, but now let's hear what you think. Becky. Spunky and rebellious Becky is brought to a weekend getaway at a lake house by her father, Jeff. In an effort to try to reconnect, but the trip soon takes a turn for the worse when when convicts on the run, led by the merciless Dominic, suddenly invade the home. This stars Lulu Wilson, Kevin James, Joe McHale, Amanda Brugel, and Robert Hamale.
and Kevin James, of course.
I
So
said that already.
okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, this movie, you saw it. You gave it how many snowflakes from that? I can't really remember. You gave it 3 or something like that. I got to tell you, Lulu Wilson. She has some crazy eyes, man. Some crazy eyes, and you don't want to mess with her, man. This is what I see. When you see a girl with crazy eyes, you run away. That's what everyone says. If you see crazy eyes, you run away. So, but yeah, so this is about a girl who's lost her mother, and Joe McHale is in this as well. Plays her father. He takes her to a cabin in the woods so they can reconciliate and just try to put the past in the past, move forward. Where he has some other disheartening news. That's a great piece of art. Look right there. But yeah, I didn't go in with a lot of vigor, but boy, did it caught my attention. I think Kevin James a job for what they use him for. You have, you don't have that King of Queens feel about him, which is, he really embodies this Nazi skinhead guy. But I think they underutilized him, I think, in this film a little bit too much. They should have used him a little bit more, made him a little bit more ruthless. Instead of letting all his henchmen take the falls most throughout the film. But again, this is a Robert Millay. If anybody remembers him, you remember him mostly as what was his Kurgan, right? You said
I should have brought out his action figure because I totally have it somewhere here. Kurgan in the
and he was one of the oddities in WWE. But yeah, he has developed into a fine actor. He has some great monologue moments along with Lulu Wilson, and a lot of stuff is just a bloody film. It's like it's a hackathon as you get along into this film, but it's just I couldn't keep my eyes out of it. I was yelling at the screen a little bit because I was like, oh come on, really? But it worked for what I needed to do, and. Man, you gave it 3. I gave it a little bit more. I gave it 3.5 snowflakes. This is well worth looking at. The only reason why I came across it, it was on sale on I think Vudu for $4.99, and it was renting. You could rent it for $6.99 or own it for $4.99. I say I would rather just buy it. So I bought it. I don't mind owning this film. I might actually turn it on another day just to watch something. Just to watch it because there's pieces of it that make you go wow, and you want to see a little bit more. But yeah, I think this is a good thing for Kevin James to get away from the slapstick Paul Blart type feel, and maybe he can take a nice serious acting job down the line.
I think he saw an early cut of Uncut Gems and went, "All right, Adam, all right, you can do serious. I can do serious too."
Yeah, yeah, I think and pretty soon you both have them both in the movies together. One's gonna be the bad guy, one's gonna be the good guy, right? You would hope, or maybe they could both be bad guys.
Yeah.
You know, that'll be amazing. The next film you did see, I did finally got around to watching this, called The Postcard Killings. The New York detective Jacob Cannon's world is destroyed when his daughter and son-in-law are brutally murdered in London. This has Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Famke Janssen, Naomi Battrick, Rory O'Cannon, and Cush Jumbo. I just love the name Cush Jumbo, so I had to throw her in. Yeah, she was one of the parts that makes the movie tick, but I just love her name, Cush Jumbo. You can't not like it.
One line you would have still wanted to throw in the cast list.
Absolutely, she goes right this way. Oh, Cush Jumbo was that person. I'll take it. But yeah, this movie, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, to me, is the most underutilized actor in the business. I think, he shows so much great range. Yes, he is in Walking Dead. He is Negan. But he shows so much range, so much touch. If you ever watched Grey's Anatomy when he was dying on the bed, that was an actually good scene. Supernatural, again, dying, fabulous acting.
Watchmen, dying.
Yes.
Superman, dying.
I think we have something of a what is that called? A coincidence? I don't know. Maybe they don't want him around very long, but he's still alive, I believe, in Walking Dead. So, but this one though, this was based on a James Patterson novel along with some other writer I can't remember. But James Patterson is always the reason why you'd want to look at it a little bit, because he does put out a lot of books. He writes them as if they're going out of style, really. But this film is about a serial killer or killers that are going around and finding young couples, murdering them, and posing them into different pieces. Actually, they would take pieces and use them on their next project. But yeah, it is a horrific type of serial killing that you don't ever want to come across. There's a lot of daddy issues as well, we find out. But at the end of the day, I enjoyed this thriller. I had it figured out probably within the first 30 minutes of just looking at everything that was going on, the 30 minutes, and then I was like, let's see where it goes. And it did do a little bit of a twist here and there, and it's well worth it. If you ever watch it, it's on Hulu right now, so it's free for anybody who wants to watch it. If you subscribe to Hulu, and I gave it 3. I believe you gave it 3 as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I gave it a solid
less half a point less. Half a point
2.5
so far.
Yeah. So 3 is what I gave it. You gave it 2.5. I enjoy Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I think we need him on more movies, more television. He's like the Nathan Fillion, of the world.
Yeah, I mean, no argument here. I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan as well. He's always been someone I've championed for a long time. I don't know if he's underutilized. He's a pretty decently working actor. Could he do more like a Nathan Fillion? Probably a good example. I wouldn't be against it. Fun facts, I actually didn't even know this site existed. It's called Cinemorgue. He's been killed at least 17 times on screen. He's also been killed in movies like Jonah Hex, The Resident. Hilary Swank shot him in the head. He's also died in Sliders. Remember the show Sliders? Oh,
yes.
He's the reason she sells weed in Weeds. He's the dead father from that, as well as many other things. So yeah, at least reported, I think I counted 17 times. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's been shot, stabbed, killed, cancer, etc.
Well, he's consistent in his choosings of roles. Get that fast paycheck. Get out. Get in, get out. Get in, get out.
Do I live? I'm dead by the second episode. I'm just in flashbacks. I'm in.
Yeah. I think that's what it was with Supernatural. He kind of said, 3 seasons, that's a lot of work. You know what? I want out for now. Okay, I'll come back in flashbacks. We'll do that, right? Okay, great. Stay back for a couple years.
In Weeds, he's just flashbacks. And, yeah. Let's
It's kind of like Ron. It's kind of like Ron Livingston in that one movie, that one television show he's on. They only use him in flashbacks now. He showed up in the first episode. Of course, he dies, but every time else is nothing but flashbacks.
spoilers.
What's on TV? So,
Next,
what else do we got for me?
a couple films I saw in the last like 2 days. First up is All the Bright Places. This is currently streaming on Netflix. If you're interested, two teens facing personal struggles form a powerful bond as they embark on a cathartic journey chronicling the wonders of Indiana. This stars Elle Fanning, Justice Smith, Luke Wilson, Alexandra Shipp, and Keegan Michael Key. I thought I was walking into a nice little teen rom-com. It's a lot more than that. It's a lot heavier than that. I stayed with this thing probably till I don't even want to admit how late I stayed up because I wanted to finish it. I wanted to see how this would end, and this thing does hit you hard. Don't walk in expecting a nice fluff piece. You're not going to get that. This does tackle some issues here. Both of them are going through some stuff. You find out Elle Fanning's sister had been recently killed in a car crash.
Dakota?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that would have been funny. Well, not funny, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Justice's own stuff going on that you find a little bit about throughout the film here. And yeah, for what it is, though, if you're kind of going against what the previews kind of lead you to be, I thought it was really good here. It's definitely the Justice L show. You get a little bit lost. You can tell it was based on a book. And that's one of the small things is that it reminded me of A Fault in Our Stars, where a lot of the side characters do kind of get lost and never get their moment. At one point, you find out one of the people is Justice's friends his whole life, and that's like a revelation. You're like, oh, I didn't even know that kid knew him that much. Like, you can tell, like, there's just so much more to him. Luke Wilson has one tiny moment where he finally gets to do something. Other than that, he's just kind of the father that's there for most of the film. Yeah, so you lose a little bit between them, but when it's the main two, I think they absolutely are killing it here. It leaves you gutted a little bit at the end of some of the things that they do and pull here. So be ready. But I really enjoyed it. I actually think this is something you might enjoy. I do recommend to you as well. Keegan Michael Key's, good in it as well. He has a very small part to a degree. He's in 2 locations. Could have shot in a day probably. But I thought this thing really worked. I'm going to give it 4 stars.
That's a very high praise, and I look at the cast and I like everyone who's in it that I can see. You have Justice Smith.
And Justice Smith, by the way, man, like he's been fine. Detective Pikachu. What was it, Jurassic World? But I've never been like, oh, Justice Smith, I'm in. But like, he's really good in this. Like, he's definitely been able to get out of that kind of like talking to CGI creatures that he did in those other movies. Like, he really does deliver in this too, which is fun. Like, Elle, I knew would deliver because she's right with Dakota, just being she's been great in everything. But yeah, Justice Smith, I got to give him props because he walks that fine line and he's so good in this.
So if you want a good tearjerker, it sounds like all the bright places will give you that. The next one we have is a documentary. I slipped on my documentary watching. I said I was going to start doing it each week, once a week. I slipped, but you picked up the slack, my friend.
Never live up to our words.
Yeah, you picked it up by watching Magnum's Opus, a documentary that follows the rise and ultimate departure of an independent wrestler, Magnum CK. That's Chris Parsons. Following one's dreams are all placed in stark contrast with injuries and mental health in this genuine look behind the sequins curtain of professional wrestling. This has Chris Parsons, Alexis Parsons, John Thorne, RJ City, Gregory Irons, Colin Delaney, Eric Ryan, and Dylan Postal. So is this, So what kind of is it a sad, tragic tale with a little uplift at the end, or is it how's this go for us?
No, this thing is definitely this is actually it sounds almost as sad as the last one, but it's very uplifting to a very large degree here because it is about kind of just doing what you love, and as it says here with the mental part as well, it tackles that here, but it's very uplifting in the end here. A big chunk of it is his post-match speech, and he goes on for about 15-20 minutes, and they kind of cut to it back and forth. But it is very uplifting of this guy who he walked away from wrestling for a little while, came back and really was starting to come on to his own. Like I even legitimately was a fan, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's over, and that can be heartbreaking. But he tackles it with a lot of praise. His wife's interviewed in this as well. She's the other Parsons you see in the cast, and yeah, it's a really cool, interesting tale. My only fault, which is why I'm not going to give it a higher score than what I am, is actually the kind of bare bones documentary tally to it. You know, I mentioned Dark Side of the Ring for best TV shows because of how much thought and effort put into this. This felt very bare bones. This felt like they only interviewed about 3 or 4 people. The RJ City part, while interesting, almost segues into like a different conversation, and almost feels like they just kind of grabbed that from somewhere and snuck it into here because it really doesn't have always a lot to do with Magnum CK. So that kind of felt a little random. Even the Magnum CK part, which is weird, even though he's credited as one of the co-directors in this and he's a producer, his talking points is from a podcast. You don't even see him telling his own story. You just hear the audio and they show clips. And that felt weird that like they didn't film new stuff with him. They filmed stuff with the wife and other wrestlers, Dylan Postle's Hornswoggle, if you're wondering. And so, yeah, it's a good tale. I just kind of felt like, I don't know, I just felt like, better, I hate to say it, but like maybe better, more experienced hands could have really made this something bigger. Because other parts of it's an hour 40-something. There's long chunks of matches. It's not snippets. It's like chunks of like for a straight minute or two, you're just watching a match, which is cool for me, but I can see this not necessarily being for everyone. Like a Dark Side of the Ring or Beyond the Mat, I would say is for everyone. If you just want an interesting tale and a sneak into the wrestling world, you don't need to be a fan. This one, I feel like you do kind of need to be a fan to a degree. So I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it 3.5, but it is one of those that I just, like, you can tell why like this kind of went on Amazon Prime kind of quietly, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how many eyes are on this. I think if you're a wrestling fan, if you were ever a fan of Magnum CK, definitely check it out.
Yeah, thinking of what, how I said I was never watching a documentary. I did watch a documentary just recently. I didn't put it on the show. I'll talk about it next week because I kind of forgot about it. And then I was talking to you, and I was like, you know what? That was a documentary I watched. I watched I'll be honest, it's a long documentary. You really got to buckle up. It's 2.5 hours. It's just like if they had all this footage and they wanted to use it, they could have knocked it down to like an hour and a half. We'll talk a little bit about that next week. But oh my, it's a decent doc, like I said. But I forgot because it was so long. That doesn't bode well for the rating. I can tell you that. The next one we have is what do we have for us, Jordan? You're up next on this one. What do we got here?
All right, last one we're going to talk about here before we move on to Miss Jolie is The Jesus Rolls. Hours after his release from prison, Jesus Quintana pairs up with fellow misfits Petey and Marie for a freewheeling joyride of petty crime and romance. Again, I took this premise from someone else. I don't know about romance. You saw a little bit of what the romance was.
Yeah.
Stars John Turturro reprising his role from Big Lebowski. This is the same character. None of the same writers or directors, so keep that in mind. I believe it was all Turturro writing, directing as well. Bobby Cannavale, Audrey Tautou, Susan Sarandon, Pete Davidson again popping up, John Hamm, and Christopher Walken. Get walking, Christopher. Yeah, this one was a weird hodgepodge, man. You saw the last bit of it, and you might have been a little confused or lost. It's the whole thing in the movie. You saw basically all of Pete Davidson's arc, and that's the other thing here too, is that except for the main three, Tautou, Cannavale, and Turturro, everyone's just in this for a split second here. Walken's in the opening sequence, one scene. Davidson's at the end, one scene. Sarandon's in a couple scenes in the middle. There's even more. It's like Nelson pops up, JB Smoove pops up. John Hamm's in one scene, and they're usually just not that funny. They're not that thrilling. You don't like Jesus. He's just kind of a dick to most people. So you don't even like the main character as far as I'm concerned. There are some laughs. He does give you some laughs, or Turturro does, but I don't know. Just this felt like it needed a better plot, a better script. It just seems kind of random sometimes, the sequences they go with here. You saw the Davidson one. The Sarandon one gets weirdly dark at one point. The other ones are too silly. The John Hamm one. Yeah, I don't know. This is to a large degree, this just didn't work on almost any level here. I didn't watch it to a large degree, but I kind of nothing watched it. And yeah, I don't know, man. This is an odd one. I almost feel like this is going to be a really, I don't even know. I can't even really say two. I want to say 1.5. There's just nothing really here that grabbed me for the most part. I laughed a couple times. A couple things landed as far as jokes, but then most other things, you just, ugh.
I'm not going to give this any review really. I'm just going to tell you what I saw. It was like, 15 minutes or 20 minutes of film.
And let me finish this thing. I got 10 minutes.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. So it felt like an hour. I'll be honest, with this long film. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, number one, Jesus was not a great character in The Big Lebowski. He was entertaining.
Yeah.
For that brief second or two that we saw him, and he did have a little
away from Friends of like, did this guy need his own whole movie? This dude's funny in 5-minute increments. This dude does not need an hour and a half. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, can you picture a whole Phoebe episode? Whole Phoebe time. I couldn't do it. But I'm just I watched that little tiny bit, and I told you that's all I could come up with. I couldn't come up with a description. It was that bad, and then we found out why, because John Turturro wrote it. If it was a passion project, he didn't really have a lot, just other than I'm gonna make a movie. That's all his passion was for this. We're moving away from Jesus, but we're gonna go to TV right now because we have a few shows down there. I've talked about two of them. We've talked about both, I think, at this time, and I added one too as well. But I gotta tell you, we could keep talking about the top two that you just have as well. They're fantastic shows. We got What We Do in the Shadows. Tell me about what you think about this show. Did you finally get to watch the whole seasons?
Oh yeah, that's why I have it on here, man. Yeah, I'll talk just real briefly about my two, and then you can talk about yours. We did the top 10 TV shows so far of the year. If we had done it a week or two later, these might have been in there, man. Absolutely funny shows. They're on Hulu. That's how I watch them. What We Do in the Shadows is also on FX. I caught up not only on season 2, but actually finished season 1. Actually, I was so behind, but a season and a half. And yeah, this is just a continually funny show. I love the stuff with the familiar, kind of a scene stealer for season 2 here, which is funny because I would not have predicted that from season 1.
It's funny. What's funny is Guillermo. That's the familiar. They could never remember his name. What's his name? Until only the one who knows is the main vampire. He knows Guillermo because he's his lackey, but everyone else kind of shides him too much. I love Guillermo though.
Yeah, so yeah, I love this show, man. It's a fun one. 10 episodes, they're very quickly. I mean, like I said, that season 2 took no problem. I got to the end of it, I was like, am I done? I'm done. Solar Opposites, one you talked about, from one of the creators of Rick and Morty. Same animation style, same kind of humor, but very even more R-rated. This is definitely adult. I mean, if you let any of your kids watch Rick and Morty, don't let them watch this one though, because this one definitely gets R-rated. As you mentioned, the little people inside the glass are really funny. That was actually my favorite part, kind of pretty easily.
It was more developed than the outside of the glass. It had more of an arc inside than outside.
And I love they did something that Buffy did back in the day, and maybe others did, where it was all in the glass, but then there was still a story going on outside of it that they never focused on, which I thought was really cool. There's an old Buffy episode where it's all about Nicholas Brendan's character, but in the background they're saving the world, but they never really focus on it. And so that was kind of funny. It's a really, really funny show. Another one that I went through pretty quickly here. So yeah, I just want to give those two shows a shout out, because if you're looking for something funny, if you got Hulu, they're all on there. Check it out.
If you have Netflix, this show I finished watching. I was actually told about this show, and I've always looked at it in my queue, and I never turned it on until I was told you need to see both seasons. It's called Kippo and the Age of the Wonder Beast. It's a fantastic story in which it's about a girl who finds out that she's part. Well, I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to ruin it for you. But no. Yeah, I can't tell you. But Sterling O'Brien is in it. He's one of the voice characters. And what was it?
K Brown. I'm pretty sure.
K Brown. I'm sorry. I put an L in there. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize to Sterling Brown because I do love his acting.
He's a watcher.
Yeah, I know he is. He's an avid watcher. From whatever show he's on now. What is that show? That one show? Anyway, but yeah, he's. I know this is us. It was a show about us, but then they took it away. But yeah, Kip it is a great show for families. It's for Y7 and up, and I am on the up scale of the Y the of the up part, but it's on Netflix. It's a
You're on the down.
yeah, and it's well written and it's well diverse and it's just unbelievably fun to watch. Great characters. They have mutant animals that talk, and it's it is the relationship with this girl who lives underground, but then is forced to go to the surface, and now she's trying to find her family or her father on the surf, so they can go to the underground bunker, and she meets a couple friends, and to me it's a fun magical show. It's by DreamWorks. It's on Netflix. I it's well worth the look at if you want to find something to appease the children and yourself. You will not find yourself wanting nothing more.
I was going to ask you what age bracket, but you said it's about 7, so yeah, a young kid will be fine.
No, absolutely. There's nothing. There's no gratuitous anything. It's just a fun adventure. There's a little mild violence, of course, because they have to fend off the bad guys. But it's all done in a comical gesture. So it's not like it's nothing really fierce for that.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So now, my friend, now is our top 10. The top 10 Angelina Jolie films. Why has it taken this long to get Angelina in our top 10?
Well, hold on. My question was going to be kind of different. What inspired this top 10, Dutch? I never know
Wow.
when I say, what do you want to do this week?
You know what inspired it? I was watching Maleficent whenever you texted and you said, "What's the top 10 going to be?" And I looked at my TV and Maleficent was playing, and I said, Angelina Jolie, top 10, why not? And so
It's pure dumb luck. Not any thought or process put into the show. Just simply,
no,
oh, that girl.
we're lucky Robert Downey Jr. wasn't up there because that would have happened to him too. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I
Oh,
probably have 10 Downey Juniors. Hey, we'll do that soon.
yeah, you know what? I have over 10 because he's just a great actor. I can tell you what a sneak peek of that list would be, but I would have to hurt brain wipe everybody. So,
Worth it. Please don't.
so Jordan, what is your number 10 film? I have my top 10 on pieces of paper.
Top 10 Angelina Jolie films. Number 10 is a movie called Life or Something Like It. A movie I never thought I would discuss on the show because it's a movie I don't even remember all that much. But there are some charming parts in it. It's something that you kind of see a little bit of a different side of her than most of the other films on my list here, too. So it's not great. It's not great. But my number 10. I don't know what else to say about it.
Well, okay, my number 10, and it's just her voice, and that's Kung Fu Panda. It was, I found that it wasn't a great movie in my mind. It still isn't. I know they have like 12 of them in a series, but it was 3. I think Kung Fu 3 Pandas, I think, in a series.
Well, 3's a far off from 12, yeah.
It just seems like a lot for this movie. But yeah, I found it okay. It would never be in any other top 10 list of mine. Even Jack Black list, it wouldn't even be on that.
Have any other Kung Fu's? That's your only Panda movie?
That's my only Panda film. That's the only one.
I like this trilogy a lot, actually. I'll defend this trilogy a lot more than you will, obviously. I don't have any of it on my list. She's a pretty major part of it. I just didn't include it. I went with all live action films. So
well, I couldn't come up with a live action film to save my life for the 10th, so I had to go anime. So.
My number 9 is actually weirdly a Golden Globe winner for Best Picture. It's The Tourist with her and Johnny Depp. Yeah, again, not another film I thought I would ever talk about too much here. It is a fun movie here. It's a little overly long. It's a little overly, plot twisty.
Could we just say it should never have won the Golden Globe?
I mean, the fact that I'm saying it's like okay, and like kind of a fun ride is not necessarily what you would say for a Best Picture winner. I don't really know if they had the scratch to go, hey, Hollywood Foreign Press.
That's what it was.
What comedies and musicals were out that year. I'd like to see what it ran against. But I remember even at the time when it came out, I remember going, yeah, that's not right. But it really isn't that bad. But it's just one of those odd picture winners.
Yeah, I do not have that. I do not have that on my list. But my number 9 is Laura Croft Tomb Raider, the first one. Set up for the second one. I'm not a very big. I thought it was very good at what happened when it first came out. I thought it was very good until I saw the last Tomb Raider film, and to me that blew it out the water. But this was a good effort by Angelina. Her accent was a little too posh for for the Laura Croft individual, but good effort for her. Showed that she could actually be an action star. I think this was before some other ones, maybe I can't remember, but she kind of no, actually she capitalized on some of the other action films that she was in prior for this role. So that's what helped her. But number 9, Laura Croft, Tomb Raider, the original.
I'm not far off because my number 8 is Lara Croft Tomb Raider. Yeah, it was a fun one. I think I saw this in theaters here, and I don't mind the sequel. The sequel pretty much is just as good as the first one, in my opinion. Here, I wouldn't even mind. Still to this day, let's get a third one, an older Tomb Raider. Uh, but yeah, it's a fun little ride here. One of the first, I think, major movies where she was kind of the lead actress, and as far as an action flick. So yeah, fun stuff here. Number 8, Tomb Raider.
My number 8 is actually Denzel Washington is in this one with her, the Bone Collector. She plays his assistant. He's stuck in a bed, paralyzed throughout the whole film, and it's all him being just up here mentally and helping and having other people do the job until the end, which technically, well, it's a decent film. It's actually a better decent film than I'm actually describing, but I thought it was, it showed me a little bit of more of a growth for Angelina Jolie, just to play that little small bit part, but it still worked out well for her. So that's number 8, The Bone Collector.
Yeah, and also very short-lived TV show recently. They tried bringing it back. Not Denzel or Angelina, obviously. My number 7 here is Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage. Another just kind of fun. Very much in the same vein to a degree of Tomb Raider, fun popcorn flick. Decent, side cast here, Giovanni Ribisi, fast cars, Angelina Jolie looking great. I mean, yeah, it's fun. Something I actually wouldn't mind rewatching again at some point. I haven't seen it in quite a while, but number 7 popping in.
Okay, my number 7, it actually grew on me. That's how I got to number 7. This is the inspiration of the list. Maleficent, the original Maleficent, not the second one, which we both saw in theaters together and shuddered as we watched. But the first one, it grew on me. I might have to watch the second one now to make it all worthwhile. But yeah, the first one, Maleficent. I think I'm messing up that name each time I say it. But yes, it's well worth the watch. It's on TNT. So they played it like 4 times one day, I think. It's crazy sometimes. But yes, Melissa. Huh?
What is it on?
TNT, the 10 Turner Network. Yeah, TNT.
TMZ, yeah. And I'm like, the paparazzi?
No, TNT. So yeah, Maleficent, my number 7.
My number 6 is a sexy psychological thriller, Taking Lives. Her and Ethan Hawke, a little bit of foreign espionage, not espionage, but trying to track down a killer here. I think it's elevated by her performance here. I enjoyed the ending and the comeuppance maybe of the bad guy. And yeah, it's one of those. It's a little too long if I remember, but yeah, still a worthy movie here. With some decent performances, I think elevated it. Taking Lives.
Okay, hold on just a second. I apologize. I'm trying to find the nominees, for the tourist. I just need to know who's going against them. But anyway, my number 6, I believe it was James McAvoy, if I'm not mistaken, and this little Lily, you turn the gun to make the bullet go around the corner. Wanted. I thought that was a fun little show. Again, an action show. Less talking, I guess, is more for me. I guess, and a very pish posh type film. Doesn't really have a lot of coherency to it, but I enjoyed it. Wanted. I thought they were going to come out with a sequel. They never have. I don't know. Maybe they're going to do it again one day. Maybe they're going to reboot it. But Wanted is my number six. I enjoyed the chemistry between McAvoy and Jolie.
Well, at least for the second time on this list, we're not far off because my number five is Wanted. Uh, it's the truth. Yeah, this was a fun one. Or it's R rated. Some fun violence, some different kind of physics, kind of like the Matrix that they do here. It ramps up all throughout it here. McAvoy is really good as well. Morgan Freeman pops up in this thing. Yeah, it's one of those that still to this day, every once in a while, you'll hear about a sequel, a reboot, a cartoon, even, I think I've heard. And so, yeah, it's a fun flick. Another one that I wouldn't mind rewatching. Number five for me.
Okay, this just in: the 2011 Best Picture in musical or comedy. Was the comedy? I didn't think it was. I didn't feel like it was.
I would
But
a comedy over a drama.
but you know what though? I'll be honest. It didn't win. You said it won.
No, I lied. Who won?
That year, and thank God was right with the world. The kids are all right. That's a great movie. Mark Ruffalo and I think Julianne Moore and Annette Bening, I believe, off the top of my head. All I know is all I have is I don't even see. I can't even read. My glasses are off. So, but yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, they came in. That same year was Alice in Wonderland, Burlesque, and Red as well.
Maybe that's why, because three of those films aren't that good in my opinion. So maybe that's
Yeah.
why the whole year was a weird shock. All right, never mind. I think the shock was just the fact that it got nominated because it's one of those things of like everybody gave it like a B minus C plus, and all of a sudden it's nominated for, the second most prestigious awards.
Yeah, you can't ever go by any of these Golden Globe things because, by God, they look atrocious. Some of these nominees. Anywho, we're number five, are we not?
Yeah,
Number five, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This is what set Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt apart. It was Angelina Jolie, the interloper. But no, I didn't care. Vince Vaughn was in it. It was a fun little romp. I was hoping for a sequel. We never got it because of all the bad publicity. I think it was a decent film, made bank. Yeah, I thought it was a great little action piece. And also it was kind of the chemistry that Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie had was pretty hot on screen. And like I said, that's why I said number five. It was just like I said, most of these are action films, which is amazing until we get to the up top. So that's right now number five, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Jennifer Aniston's most regretted words were, "Honey, this script's really good, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You should read it." Uh,
Yeah.
Before here, you've talked about it previously, is the Bone Collector, going back to when she was, in a supporting role, late '90s, I believe. Here, yeah, it's another fun, like you said, it's kind of interesting because Denzel is bedridden, all of it, so Jolie's kind of the one that's a little bit more on the streets as well as someone else, and yeah, I thought it was a really well made thriller here. Again, I don't know if it would ever be this high on the other list, but I do enjoy this movie. Bone Collector at number four.
Uh, my number four, Nicolas Cage, also is in this great movie, Gone in 60 Seconds. Yes, I believe this is a Michael Bay film, if I'm not mistaken, right? And the Don Simpson collaborative, is it not? I believe it is. I think it is. I don't know. Either way, it's one of those big, brash, speedy, no plot, but he wants to only steal great cars. And of course, Nicolas Cage has that fabulous "Let's go." You know what I'm saying? And he was about to go out. Let's go. I don't know. I'm a big Nicolas Cage fan as well. He might be our top 10 one week. I can't wait for that one. But yes, Nicolas Cage. This was him at his height with The Rock and all these other things that were coming out. For Nicolas Cage, who was actually on a good hit spree for a while, and then he just fell off the table. And but yeah, Gone in 60 Seconds, fun film. Just like I said, a good action set piece. Mindless watch. I love it.
No, the director was Dominic Senya, who also directed
Oh,
California with a K, Swordfish, Whiteout, and Season of the Witch. Those are his only other credits, as well as a couple of Janet Jackson music videos.
Oh, that's a little eclectic movie selection, though, is it not? Seasons of the Witch and all the others. Very eclectic.
which is a Nicolas Cage movie.
Yes. Number three, we're at, my friend.
My number three. Now we're getting some movies that these last three I really like. My number three is Salt, from a few years ago. She kind of plays a little bit of a double spy here. You don't know, is she good? Is she bad? Is she a little bit of both actually here? But I mean, she kicks ass. It's some fun action sequences. She's really good in it. Chiwetel Ejiofor is in this thing as well. And yeah, just one of those that it holds you for the entirety of it here, trying to figure out exactly who this character is, and I thought she did a really good job of pulling off.
That's a good movie. I didn't have it on my list. It's again another action film. I think she could do a great action. She's a great action star. It looks like Charlize has now moved into that role now. I think it's kind of a succession. It's kind of weird that way. And now she's going back to regular like mom and pop fare for it. My number three. I'm sorry. My number three is Hackers. This is where I first ever saw Angelina Jolie. And it was it does not hold up. Okay, kids, it does not hold up to this day and age. Technology back then was nothing like it is today, but it is fun to see. And it's a great little tight knit community of hackers they have in this film. And like I said, it was the first introduction that I ever had of Angelina Jolie, and it was a fun film. Still is kind of fun. It just doesn't hold up in today's world. So.
My number two, I'm gonna again cite out a movie you talked about earlier. Jennifer Aniston regrets Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I really dug this thing, man. I mean, as you mentioned, the hot chemistry between them, it really does kind of come off screen, and I just think it's a fun movie, man. There's laughs in this. It's another one that has like a really decent side cast of like Vince Vaughn and Paul Dano, and yeah, I just found this is a really fun movie here. I mean, it's another one that like I really wouldn't have mind sequels, like following these two some more. They again another one that tried to do. They did a TV show of this as well at one point. I actually don't even know if it made it past the pilot, but it made sense that they at least tried, because if you find the right pairing, it would be fun kind of seeing them just do these adventures here. And yeah, I think this is a fun flick, man.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they never got back. Even though they married, they never got back to this film. Maybe they just didn't want to do any more actions for a
That really
while.
depressing movie where he beats her or whatever that movie was.
Yeah. Oh, that was yes. I know which one you're talking. I just can't remember the name of it. So she's overseas, isn't it? Is that the? I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know.
my number two though. This one won her an Academy Award. It's Winona Ryder, Girl Interrupted. She plays a great schizophrenic girl, I believe. That's what she is, I believe, in this film. Very mentally, she has mental health issues. She plays it to a T. Little did we know, she was probably going through a lot of stuff back in the early days of her life. I believe she said stuff. She was always depressed as a kid or whatever as well. But yeah, I was enthralled with her acting in this one as well. Just well deserved. Girl Interrupted, my number two on the list.
I was thinking of the movie By the Sea is the one with her and Brad Pitt, which was
Oh,
actually written and directed by Angelina Jolie and currently sits at 57% liked on Track.tv. Uh, uh, so we're going on to the number one, are we now? We're at the finale.
number. Yeah, we're at the top of the heap, buddy.
This is one that I think, as far as performance wise, she is front and center, and she is the heart and soul of this movie here. She absolutely kills it. I don't know if she won awards. I think she got nominated though for sure. Changeling from a few years ago. I believe this is an Eastwood movie.
I believe it was. Yes.
Yeah, I had to think about it for a second there, but
Yeah.
it's just a great film. And yeah, I just think it's one of those times where say what you will about her personal life, like this is just one of those times where she absolutely delivers, and she technically she delivers in all these movies. But I just think this is just such a powerful performance here. This is one that's not a movie that you would rewatch a lot, but I wouldn't mind seeing again just to watch for her performance here. I feel the guy from Burn Notice is also quite good in this as well, Jeffrey Donovan. You kind of hate him a little bit, but yeah, this is just I think Changeling, very kind of an undersung movie that we don't think about much over the course.
The movie that I think fell through the cracks over the years, and it was because it was not vogue to do them often. It was made for cable. It's an HBO movie. It's a the movie. It was nominated for Emmys as well because that's where they go. But it's Gia. It is a story, a true story about a model and her dependency on drugs and how she just spirals from the top of the heap to the very bottom. This film is, to me, just just a great piece of acting. I mean, every piece of it. From she loses weight in this film, and it's just unbelievably scary of how the makeup and quality of the work is done. And to me, this is why it's number one. It is, to me, her best, acting job that she's had in a long time. Yes, she's tried to make those roles for her with By the Sea and things like that, try to get those those eyes and looking at her for that. But this to me was just a great piece of performance art, and it's well worth it. It's out there. I'm not sure where you can get to watch it, but maybe on HBO somewhere in their catalog, on HBO Max or HBO Now or wherever. But it is well worth watching. Gia, just a good movie, a good wholesome film. It's not a wholesome film. It's just a good movie. Drug addiction. Oh yeah, that's just good. But no, it's a very sobering type film.
Yeah, what a great. Bring your kids.
Yeah.
I did look real quick. You indeed, if you have HBO Max, you can look up Geo right now. You can catch that on their streaming platform. So yeah, that's interesting. It's a movie I've heard of throughout the years, but I've never seen.
Well, you should take a gander at it now that you got HBO Max.
I do not though.
Oh, I thought you did.
Nope. I tested it and then I went meh. I'll wait until the Snyder cut, which I know you're excited about. So
I have HBO Max. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
well, then you can watch G again.
Yeah, I can watch it all I want. Yeah.
Going over our tens again. Number 10 for me, Life or Something Like It. Number 9, The Tourist. Number 8, Tomb Raider. Number 7, Gone in 60 Seconds. 6, Taking Lives. 5, Wanted. 4, Bone Collector. 3, Salt. 2, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And number 1, Changeling. And my number 11 was Sky Captain. What do you got?
I thought about Sky Captain. I'll throw that in my number 11 slot. I did think about it, but I was like, ugh, what an atrocious film. But it could have beat Kung Fu Panda. I don't know. But number 10, Kung Fu Panda. Number 9, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. Number 8, The Bone Collector. Number 7, Maleficent. Number 6, Wanted. Number 5, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Number 4, Gone in 60 Seconds. My number 3 is Hackers. Number 2 is Girl Interrupted, and my number 1 is Gia. I think we put together some good top tens on this. I thought, we shouldn't have been afraid.
No, I mean, we talked about some different films here, man. For me, Soul, Changeling, you got Gia in there, Hackers. So yeah, we've got a decent amount. Shows that she's got several films. I think altogether, a little over 15 films we talked about. I think there's others that we didn't. That I'm sure other people are yelling at the screen like, "What about?" Blah, blah, blah.
And we're like, well, wasn't our best top 10. Sorry. As we have Stoogies.
Will Smith.
Top 10 Will Smith? Oh, God, that'd be rough.
With Will Smith, with Angelina Jolie.
What? What movie?
Shark Tale.
Oh, Shark Tale, yes, with Martin Scorsese as well.
Angelina, yeah. Jack Black. It's got a huge cast.
Yeah. I thought about it, but I was like, I only do it for Scorsese films. So.
Top 10 Martin Scorsese and just make number 1 Shark Tale.
Yeah, Shark Tale. He's going down in infamy for that. He's just a great. He's a great voice actor. Don't think he isn't. Yeah, he is. So anyway, it's that time, man. It's that time of the show where I get learned and our audience thanks you so much about it. And it's time for the news and notable stuff. Yes, breaking news.
Did you say the word learned?
Yes, well learned, sir.
All right. Starting off here, we got to do some tributes here. Popping up first, Kelly Preston has unfortunately passed away at the age of 57. She, of course, is the wife of John Travolta and a really good actress in her own right as well. You may know her from Jerry Maguire, from Dusk Till Dawn, For the Love of the Game, Cat in the Hat, Sky High, amongst many others here. Much love to her husband and kids that are left behind. They unfortunately had a son pass away a few years ago as well here. So, much love to Travolta. There's a picture, a little bit of the clan there. And yeah, definitely sad to hear that. I think she was suffering from cancer these last few years. So uh, sad to hear. Hopefully she's in peace now, and peace as well to the family.
Absolutely, I concur. What else we got, bud?
New trailer popped up for a new Netflix film. I thought it was a pretty cool trailer. You see this for Project Power with Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh no, I have not seen it. So it means something I
Definitely
need to do.
100%. Yeah, check that out here. Good to see JGL. We were just talking about 7,500. Some very mixed reviews between us and shout out to Don Mega from Am I on the Air. Good seeing him in a leading role as well as Jamie Foxx here. Yeah, just it looks kind of like it's kind of a superhero flick to a degree. Or it reminds me of Limitless too with Bradley Cooper, where they take a pill and for 5 minutes it gives them kind of like an unknown power.
Oh,
So
wow.
it looks like a fun time here, and it's dropping pretty soon on Netflix. Batwoman has found their new lead, and Javicia Leslie has now been casted. This is the first black actress ever to play Batwoman in a live-action TV or film production. She's appeared previously in things like God Friended Me and The Family Business here. So, fans of Batwoman, we will continue on in season 2. No more Ruby Rose. The Old Guard on Netflix has been reported to be seen by over 72 million households, making it the number 6 original movie on Netflix in history. In case you're wondering what number 1 is, that is still Chris Hemsworth's Extraction.
Yeah.
Um,
Those numbers though, I find they're kind of skewed. I don't, they say they only count if you watched it for the first 2 minutes. So you might have turned it off after minute 2.5, but that's considered a watch. I don't understand that. I guess maybe they're thinking,
that's a low threshold too. 2 minutes, like I'll throw something on for 2 minutes just while I'm changing, going to the bathroom and getting a popcorn, or something. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So maybe they're thinking, well, it's almost like a movie house where you show up, you paid your money, you sat in the seat, and then you saw like those old people did it when we watched Baywatch, and they left. You know what I'm saying? It was only like 3 minutes into the film and they left. So, which we should have done too, but we never did.
Poor guy got his balls stuck in a beach chair.
First, 5 minutes or some crap? Jeez.
Out of there. Netflix has definitely got some money, though. Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling will star in the Russo brothers movie, The Gray Man. I have The Ray Man here, but I'm pretty sure it's The Gray Man, and what is set to be Netflix's largest budget film to date. They have a budget of upwards of $200 million, so they are giving some money to the Russo brothers. They, of course, from the recent Avengers films. They've also announced The Devil All the Time to release on September 16th of this year. They've got, check out this cast: Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgård, Riley Keough, Jason Clarke, Sebastian Stan, Mia Wasikowska, Pokey Lafarge. I don't know who Pokey Lafarge is, but I definitely had to mention him or her because her name's Pokey Lafarge.
We love names.
There's like 3 or 4 names left off because I was just trying to give the big names, but I had to throw in Pokey Lafarge and Robert Pattinson. And so that's dropping September 16th on Netflix, The Devil All the Time. So that's definitely got a cast to watch out for. But hey, Netflix, watch out because as you mentioned before, Apple TV just dropped a Greyhound, where they got several big movies acquired. Justin Timberlake's Palmer, Will Smith, Emancipation, Martin Scorsese's Killer of the Flower Moon, which stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, Snowblind with Jake Gyllenhaal, and On the Rocks, which is Sofia Coppola's movie with Bill Murray and Rashida Jones. So you like movies, you might have to get that Apple Plus.
Is this Scorsese film going to be under 12 hours this time?
14 and a half. And
he couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it, could he? Ay, caramba. Just because they don't rein you in on these platforms does not mean you have to make 7-hour movies, okay? That's all I can say. Just hour and a half, okay? It's not that hard. They used to do it back in the 80s, 90s, early.
I disagree about hour and a half, but yeah, two and a half.
Some things are too long. Hey, if you know what? By the way, let me interrupt you for a second. If you want to toss a coin to your Witcher, have you done that lately? Have you tossed a coin to your Witcher?
I'm
I
all.
haven't because I love that show. It's coming back on Netflix. 2021 is when they said the premiere date will be. They said season 2 will be back early 2021. They don't really have a solid date, but they basically were starting to kick off production in February 2020. Of course, we all know how 2020 has become. But yeah, so 2021, that's their estimated arrival. So I cannot wait. Actually, yeah. So it looks like June. Hold on, June 22nd, possible. That's what they're thinking. But June 22nd, 2021, because everyone's reuniting in August to film. So let's do this. Let's toss a coin to my Witcher. Let's get it going.
Whatever that means, sure. Palm Springs has scored the biggest opening weekend on Hulu. That's cool to hear because both me, you, and our guest Don were big fans of that movie. Not good news for Jim Carrey. His show Kidding has been canceled after 2 seasons on Showtime. I had a love-hate relationship with this, or a love what relationship with this, because this was an odd show. Do you ever see the show Kidding?
I never saw it. I thought they did cancel it though after season 1 for some reason.
2 full seasons. It's a wacky one. I do recommend it, if that makes sense. Uh, William Shatner claims he would love Chris Pine to play him in a biopic. He's obviously took after him as in the Star Trek films, and he says, "Hey, if there's a biopic made of me, it should be Chris Pine." So I'd watch that.
Continuity is key. Continuity is key.
I know you're a big Noah Centineo fan of All the Boys I've Loved. He has been casted in Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam film as Adam Smasher, still scheduled for December 22nd of 2021. But that's, let's see if that holds.
Okay, let's talk about Holden. Tenet. Okay, we've all been wanting to watch Tenet since the early part of July. They got pushed to the end of July. And now they're pushing it back again. Tenet, you will not be able to watch this. Yeah, Tenet is coming back on August 12th, if it's possible. August 12th. That's the hope and pray of. I think what they should do at this point, if it doesn't come out on August 12th, put it up there on VOD, and I bet you 5-1 people will buy it like nobody's business. Put it out there, I'll buy it.
I don't see it happening because I know Nolan, if he gets his way, has been very vocal about this is a theater movie.
No, they're all doing that. But, Scorsese used to be against it. Look at him now. He's putting it out on Netflix and Apple. Whoever's paying him the money. You back up some more money to Nolan, he'll cave. He'll cave. Oh, by the way, you're a big fan. Tell me if you got this or not. Denai Guerrera. You know who she is, right?
Yeah, Michonne.
Michonne. Did you hear? She's coming back full time on The Walking Dead season 12. She's a full-time actor now. She's come back. I guess she went out there, made a few of those Black Panther films, and said, "You know what? I'm coming back because I love the cast." So she's coming back. So she's very excited. She exited, I guess, early episode 13 of the last season, or one of those seasons back, or 11, or whatever it was. But now she's coming back for season 12, and she's all in, she says. So that's good. Well, good news for her.
Yeah, it's happened a lot recently on Walking Dead. I forgot the actress's name, but Maggie just kind of left after being a very vocal part for many seasons. She just kind of was like, "What happened to Maggie?" "Oh, she packed up and left because the actress didn't want to do it." And and Michonne, they never wrote her off, but it was like she was off doing her own kind of thing. So they would go to her like every 6-7 episodes, and be like, "Oh shit, yeah, Michonne." Even though she's got her daughter still roaming around. So no, that's cool to hear, man. Ever since her debut, she's been a really cool character. I really enjoyed her relationship with Rick. That was kind of the last tease, is that maybe she's gonna go find Rick. And we still don't know what the fuck's up with Rick.
Well, rumors are he'll be in the movie, so we know he's out there. That's the rumor.
He's still not dead. He won't die. Speaking of a cast that I really love and a reunion, I don't know if you've seen. Well, first 30 Rock had a reunion special on Peacock, which I've been meaning to finish. But another reunion is Happy Endings. cast is to reunite for charity-themed special on the Sony TV YouTube channel. I love this show. This is 3 seasons. It was one of those shows that they flip-flopped on times and never really, they never just committed to it. Vulture called the cancellation one of the worst TV decisions of the year. I agree. This was a super funny show. It's another one that you can catch on Hulu if you want. So that's one I look forward to seeing as well. The 30 Rock one, by the way, I would just watch the first 10 minutes. Unlike Parks and Rec, they actually film it with like real cameras and stuff. So it's kind of a little more production to it, which is nice. So I look forward to finishing that. I got to watch some Peacock. And I just have one more note. I don't know if you have anything else.
Yeah, I have one more as well. I've been championing.
And so do yours.
Okay, fine. I've been championing these films. The Train to Busan, I've been championing for years now. The sequel finally dropped in South Korea called Peninsula. Ben, if you haven't seen the trailer, it is a must watch. If you love zombies and you love chases and you love action and probably a good storyline, it is now #1 in the Asian market right now. $20 million in its first weekend around Asia. So this movie did not cost a lot of money, but it's ruling the hell out of it. And I can't wait for it to come to the States. We have yet to have a debut yet because, of course, this virus that's out that probably made these type of monsters. But I am just so excited. I really want this movie so badly to hit America so I can go watch it. I want you to be there with me, buddy. I know you don't like to watch subtitled films, but you're going to have to go with me on that. It would be well worth it.
The first one, I was a late catch on it though, but I think finally I had like 2 to 3 people tell me like, no, get on it. What's your problem? If you claim you like movies, go watch this movie. And probably one of my favorite endings, one of the best zombie films done. I mean, of all time. I'm not even gonna say of the last decade. Like of all times, it's up there. So
yeah, and it's the adrenaline rush just through every ounce of it. I mean, you relax for a minute and it just pops you again. So that's my last bit. I apologize, but I'm just so excited for Peninsula. So good job, Korea. Keep it up. Keep it up.
My last bit of news, I don't know if you heard about this. This literally just dropped in like the last minute or two.
Oh.
The show about shows has been renewed for episode 57. We're coming back next week, everybody.
What? I can't believe this. I am excited. I thank you all who listen and who don't listen, but 57 episodes is coming around the corner. God, it was just like yesterday we did our 50th. It just seems like yesterday we did our 55th or 6th or something like that as well. This is 56. But anyway, yeah, it's amazing. I'm so excited to be back and in your living rooms and on your sound systems wherever you may be watching or streaming us. So I'm very happy for that. I'm so excited. We're back for 57 for real. Hey, and don't forget, we have a show, a spin-off show, the creator to my right or left. It depends on how you're looking at the screen. But we have a show about trivia. Yes, a show about trivia where we face 2 people against each other. If you haven't seen the pilot, take a look at it. Go on our Twitter page, go on the YouTube page. And I got to tell you, I lost the first one. It was rigged. I still say it's rigged. And, they were provided answers. And I'm just messing with you. No, it was a clean sweep. It was 14-12, I believe the answers were. But, it was a fantastic time. I enjoyed it. I will be hosting the next one. I don't know who the contestants are because I am the host. I don't get told this stuff. But I do have some great questions.
The same 3 people as last time.
So it's going to be the Grudge Brothers against each other. But yes, I am coming up with some great questions. They are 20 of the greatest questions plus 3 or 4 bonus questions. It is going to be a fun time.
A lot of ties, huh?
Well, I have themes to the segments. It's unbelievable. We have 5 questions in 4 segments. It's just going to be so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. Come and watch us. It's a show about trivia coming on we're hoping to do it Thursday, right, of this week.
Is that when the questions will be done?
Yes, yes. The questions will be done by Thursday. I'm still running them up. It's gonna be fun, and I hope I do you proud because you did great the first time as the host, and good questions. Mine are going to be a little difficult, but they're going to be fun questions, and they're not going to be 80s based if that helps you. Maybe, maybe.
I look forward to it, man. Yeah, first episode's fun. Check out Dutch versus Don. Next episode, I want to get in there, see how I do. Yeah, show about trivia here. We're just beginning.
Absolutely, and I thank you guys again. It's been a great show as always, buddy. My donkey in the back says thank you, and so does Don Quixote. So does the cow. So does my puppet and my new candle. So yes, look. You see this? Look at this. Look. Oh my God. Oh, it's fake. Anyway, it's just so great. So thank you guys again. This has been Dutch McAllister along with my Raw tag team colleague. What's his name over there? The guy over there who's shoveling through pictures. Oh, it's Jordan Owens. Jordan Pierce Owens, if you really want to get dirty. If you Mr. Owens, if you're nasty. But yes, so Mr. Owens, thank you again. I enjoyed it as always being here with you. Anything you want to say to anybody besides wear a mask?
Like we do every week. I know. Thanks for everyone that's tuned in and watched here on a show about shows. Hope you had a good time, man. Stay safe, stay sane. Enjoy your Hennessy liquor like Dutch's. Watch Palm Springs. Watch more past episodes. If you want to be in trivia, let me know. I love you more than you'll ever know. Thank
Absolutely.
You.
Message us down low, and like us, and do other things with us. Does that sound weird?